Bengals, Tomlin didn't hesitate, said no. Honestly, Pittsburgh doesn't have great options behind the 39-year-old QB, believes ESPN's Mina Kimes.
It's not like the Steelers have a Trey Lance or a Justin Fields waiting in the wings. And as much as Ben has struggled, you got to pin also some of these issues on the protection, right? When I look at the Steelers' backups, Mason Rudolph, we've seen a lot of, at this point, in regular season action. Dwayne Haskins as well. These are not unknown entities. They're not, like question marks. We know what we've got in these guys.
ESPN NFL analyst Mina Kimes. Steelers visit the Packers Sunday. They've won their last 5 regular season matchups against Green Bay. MLB playoff impact matchup tonight on ESPN TV. Dodgers-Padres, 10 Eastern. Walker Buehler, Yu Darvish. LA's 2-back of NL West leading San Francisco and has the top NL wildcard spot. Connecticut forward Jonquel Jones named WNBA MVP. Jones and the Sun open up their WNBA semis tonight against Chicago, 8 Eastern, ESPN 2.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I kind of like it over here today. The place is buzzing.
It is.
Top
it's
golf
packed
on a
already.
beautiful day, and it's already going pretty well. We've got some good people right behind us and a little bit in front of us. And obviously, all the levels here at Top Golf right in Jacksonville, and you can come out and be a part of it, too. We call it Tuesdays from Top Golf. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane on the road again every Tuesday here during football season. And Josh Scobie, Jags former kicker, will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. And, hey, that was good for the brand because, speaking of the brand, McAfee got involved with it last week after we were talking about it.
Yeah, that was really cool to see, man. It's cool to see he's a fan. Yeah.
So that's good. So who can we bring on the show today?
I mean, for sure. I just can't believe Pat McAfee has enough time to even listen to us. I feel like that guy's everywhere, and he's super busy, but props to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, and it's a short week in Jacksonville. It feels like, okay, that was a big filled day yesterday. C.J. Henderson, Dan Arnold, Jaguars disappointment, a lot of plays to talk about from Sunday against Arizona. The defense, they got the running game back on track. Probably should talk more about that. Trevor Lawrence, all the turnovers, the pick six, the kick six. There was a lot going on yesterday, man.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to put a rundown together yesterday.
No, we didn't. It was pretty easy on our part, and obviously with this short week, we got to start breaking down Cincinnati a little bit. And, we talk about, and it seems like this, and correct me if I'm wrong, game by game, the Jaguars keep improving. Now, whether that's enough or not, I mean, that's up for debate, but they keep improving game by game. You go to Cincinnati now, and they're kind of rolling. This beat a Pittsburgh team who we're not really sure about, but keep in mind, Pittsburgh beat Buffalo. But you're playing Cincinnati at their place. And I think if we were doing, a preseason show and we're talking about what wins could we foresee happening for the Jaguars, I think Cincinnati would be one of them. Now, I'm not sure where you stand right now, but it should be an easier game than the Arizona Cardinals, one would think, in terms of talent. But playing at Cincinnati, playing on short notice, playing Thursday night away could be an issue for the Jaguars as well.
Yeah, and this is all new, right, to a lot of these folks, including Urban Meyer. How will he handle a short week? How will Trevor Lawrence handle a short week? And I told you coming out of that game, I said to anybody who wanted to listen, that was a cold tub game for Trevor Lawrence. And he said it today. I mean, he's still sore. He didn't even throw yesterday because of it. Monday he didn't throw at practice, kind of just went through things. I'm sure they didn't do too much at practice. Pretty easy practice, I would think, coming off a game. So, but he's sore,
Yeah.
I mean, he ran the most he's run. He got hit probably the most he's got hit. Even the last play of the game, I think he was tackled in a weird way. And so it makes me think of two things. One, Trevor Lawrence getting ready for a short week and the game planning and everything that goes into it. How's his body? How's his mind? How's preparation for the Bengals defense? That can be pretty good. And then secondly, do the Jags really alter the game plan this week especially to not have Trevor run? Because he is sore, and his health is important, and don't put him out there unless he really has to. They had designed plays in there the other day, which is nice to see. But I just wonder on a short week, almost like, remember when the Giants came off that short week with Saquon Barkley coming back?
Yeah.
Totally different reasons. But they were like, hey, we don't know if we want to really throw him to the wolves on a short week. Well, if my rookie quarterback is sore and got beat up a little bit, I think I want to be careful to put him in spots to get beat up some more on Thursday night. So I'm keeping an eye on how much they might design run him Thursday night.
No, for sure. And obviously now with the design runs, the Bengals have seen that, so they have to address that and prepare for that as well. I mean, as far as the soreness is concerned, like this is the this is the downside of Thursday Night Football. Now I believe every guy in that locker room, if you play it in a game, you're going to be sore going into the Cincinnati Bengals game. And keep in mind, the Bengals are going to be sore as well. So it's kind of an even playing field right now. But to me, it's an interesting game because if you look at the Bengals last year of where they're at, and they draft Joe Burrow, and you have a head coach in Zach Taylor that a lot of people, including in Cincinnati, weren't really big fans of, weren't really big proponents of, and they get a guy in Joe Burrow, and it seemed like when he was playing, he kind of turned things around a little bit. Now, it didn't really translate to wins. I think they only had 4 last year, and obviously Burrow goes down really early on in the season, so that was a big blow to them. But I get this sense that where Cincinnati's at now, you want to see Jacksonville be at next year. Now, keep in mind, they're 2-1 right now. There's still a lot of room to go and a lot of time. A lot of things can happen. But I think the vibe right now in Cincinnati, there's excitement. You just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're 2-1. Your team looks pretty good, and all of a sudden no one's talking about Zach Taylor possibly getting canned. And I think a year from now, when we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, we want to see this team in the same boat that Cincinnati finds themselves in right now.
That's a really good point. And think of it this way. Here's what you want coming out of it. That was a year where Cincinnati obviously didn't do that well, right? Mm-hmm. Even with Burrow playing at a pretty good level, he still only won a couple of football games. Now, you obviously hate to see him get hurt, and so the Jags don't want to sign up for that. But if you can feel this year the way Cincinnati felt about Joe Burrow when he did get hurt and what they had seen already through, I think, 10 games, that's a win in Jacksonville, right? They knew they have their guy. Joe Burrow played pretty well. Like, he did some things that said, wow. Now, he didn't play perfect, but he played pretty well, and he gave you chances to win. And it's like, hey, you know what? This guy's good. Was he a one-year wonder in college, or is he pretty good? No, he's pretty good. And so, to your point, I think you're exactly right. I think Cincinnati's a year ahead. Cincinnati has to flush out years of losing in a culture that, they might have gone to the playoffs in some years, but still, they have a losing culture. They haven't won, really. And Cincinnati was the Bengals for a reason, They've been where the Jags have been at, is my point. So I think it's really something to keep an eye on. Burrow won his first game, by the way, in Week 4 last year against the Jags.
Yeah.
And in that game, he went 25 of 36 for 300 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And he was always sacked once, and he ran it a few times too. But this is game 4 for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Maybe he returns the favor against Cincinnati and gets his first win on the road on Thursday Night Football. I always think it's a tough task for the visiting team to go to a Thursday night game. I think you're up against it. You get like one practice. You already hit the road. I think there's a lot. You're recovering your body, but then you're flying and dehydrating and all these things. I think that's harder than people think.
Yeah.
So I think the Jags are at a disadvantage, but still, it'd be pretty ironic if Trevor can go get his first win. Joe Burrow got his first win in Week 4 against the Jags.
It would be there'd be a lot of similarities, I think, and even with the head coach as well. I mentioned Zach Taylor. Now, I mean, from what I read about him, people weren't really sure of him. You read about Urban Meyer, that's more from the national media right now, but people aren't really sure about Urban Meyer. Is he going to be around the whole season? Is he going to come back next year? Is it going to be a failure here in Jacksonville? Well, like I've always said, if you start winning games, those narratives go away. And Zach Taylor's literally won 2 games this season now. Once again, going to Pittsburgh, pretty impressive win. But he's won 2 games, and I don't hear any more of those rumblings.
No.
So, once again, the Jaguars have to obviously survive this year. We'll see how it pans out. Maybe they can win 3 games, 4 games like Cincinnati did last year. But then going into the next season, I think if the Jaguars, and we're so far ahead, it's not even funny, but if we're talking about a 2-1 team right now or a competitive team, well, that's because of Trevor Lawrence. And some of that has to do with Urban Meyer as well.
Yeah, let's take a look a little closer of what they asked Joe Burrow to do early in his career, 3 games in, okay?
Okay.
Let's just, for the heck of it. And Trevor's numbers, by the way, are not going to be better than anybody's numbers. I mean, the only guy he's really better than is probably Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
His numbers are not good.
Yeah.
And this year's quarterbacks, because Justin Fields and Zach Wilson's numbers aren't good either. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking if you go historically and you want to say, hey, I can compare him to this guy and look how his career went. Well, if you go Herbert right now, if you go Burrow right now, if you go those players, heck, if you go Gardner Minshew in his first 3 games,
sure,
Minshew's numbers are way better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So be a little careful of that. But just for, just to see how they did in terms of comparing it to Cincinnati, who's trying to turn things around, and eventually they feel like they have, at least early in the season. He went 23 of 36 in the opener for a little under 200 yards, no touchdowns and an interception. Against the Chargers, they lost 16-13. Okay. But they were in it now.
Close game.
In fairness.
Yeah.
Against Cleveland, now this is kind of like the Houston game.
Okay.
Against Cleveland, they lost 35-30, so they were in it, but he went 37 of 61 They asked him to throw it 61 times in his second game, but he did have 3 touchdowns in that game. And so he did a nice job. He handled it. He gave him a chance
and Cleveland
to win.
was a good team last year as well.
Yeah. And then, I say he got his first win in week 4, but he actually got tied against Philadelphia, 23-23, 31 of 44 in that game, another 300-yard game. That Jags game in week 4 was his 3rd consecutive 300-yard game. He also threw for 300 against Indy, threw for 400 against Cleveland the next time around. So he had some really nice games, but they asked him to do quite a bit in the early going, even though they have Joe Mixon and they have a running game, and they try to play pretty good defense in Cincinnati. They're not sexy, but they try to run and play defense.
It's just blue collar,
and that's what they did against Pittsburgh. I mean, they played pretty good defense. Yeah. And, Big Ben still threw for 300-something yards because he threw it 58 times. Yeah. But they played pretty good defense, and they ran the ball. They didn't run the ball unbelievable. But if you look at the numbers, Joe Burrow was just pretty efficient. He wasn't electric against Pittsburgh the other day.
So then let's have an honest conversation of the Bengals of last year and the Jaguars of this year.
Yeah.
Offensive line, taking the Jaguars, right?
Yeah, their offensive line was awful in Cincy and got them banged up, yes.
Wide receiving core, I think it was A.J. Green when he was healthy, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, I believe.
Yeah, Higgins played well now.
Yeah, and then you compare that with Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, and D.J. Chark. Who has advantage there, would you say?
Oh, that's a good call, man.
I would say tight ends are probably – because it's not like they had Rudolph anymore.
They had Drew Sample.
Yeah.
And they have Keith and Quarter. They don't have much on the – I'm trying to think if I'm missing somebody here. I don't think I am. They don't have any tight ends. They have tight ends.
Okay, so would you say comparable in terms of skill position?
I think just not a threat, right?
Yeah.
Just not a threat.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, Higgins, Boyd, and A.J. Green, you probably got to give a little bit of the edge to Cincy there.
Okay.
Just based off the early performance of the Jags receivers. Laviska's okay. Marvin has been good. And DJ has been really hard to find other than that one touchdown catch, right?
Yeah.
So I would say maybe he's working with receivers that were a little better, but not a lot. This isn't like he's working with Kansas City's receiving core.
True.
So I think it's pretty comparable.
Well, and then from the running game, Mixon, but I don't think he played the entire season. And then they had Giovanni Bernard. And then you obviously have James Robinson and Carlos Hyde.
And by the way, I think Mixon and Bernard are a very underrated duo in the National Football League. People don't talk about Mixon as a good player.
Yeah.
But you're right, he wasn't around the whole time. But I would say that's comparable too.
Sure.
So really the Jags are set up better maybe with the offensive line.
Sure.
What's the difference then? I think the difference is Zach Taylor, because if you look at what a lot of teams have done, right? McVay and Goff and Zach Taylor and Burrow. They bring these guys in, and they are the offensive – what Joe Brady's doing with Darnold right now. They are specialists in that, working with these young quarterbacks. And I'm not saying Zach Taylor's a good coach. He hasn't won a lot of football games. In fact, I wouldn't have been surprised if they did move on from him. I think we talked about that last year and tried to reset it. But I think one of the reasons they didn't is because he was in sync with Burrow.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we might ask them to do a little too much if you look at the numbers, if you're asking me. But
they're in close competitive games,
they
though.
Were.
It's hard to.
Is it design? I can't sit here and go back and say, well, they designed things better those first 3 games versus what they're doing with Trevor.
Yeah.
But it feels like they might have.
Well, then is this kind of a sign? Because, like you mentioned, Zach Taylor and the quarterback relationship. Obviously it's there. He's an offensive-minded coach. You have a guy in Urban Meyer who's also an offensive-minded coach, but obviously he's turned the keys over to his offensive coordinator in Bevel and probably the offensive passing coordinator, whatever you want to call it, as well. Do you think this is a testament to saying, should Urban Meyer get his hands on this offense more? Should he be more involved? Because you think of guys like Andy Reid, you think of guys like Zach Taylor, Doug Peterson of the old ones with the Eagles. These guys were head coaches, yes, but they almost seem like a quarterback coach as well sometimes. Would you want to see Urban Meyer get more involved with Trevor Lawrence?
I would say no at the moment.
Okay.
I don't think so because and I know a lot of people, it doesn't feel like Darrell Bevel's off to a good start here in Jacksonville. I think a lot of the fan base already is like, Bevel. Well, I understand the pick 6 went awry, okay? Let's hammer him for that. But I thought the last game was a game that Bevel did a nice job. I think on a lot of levels, Bevel did a nice job. The Bevel can't control whether you turn the ball over and your running back runs into your arm or Hollister doesn't catch the ball. I think he did. That was more like it, is what I'm saying. And so I wouldn't do that if I'm Urban coming off a game where I say that was more like it. Urban's still, by the way, Urban's not void of blame on the pick 6. that thing comes through his headset and be like, no.
Yeah.
Hand the ball off. If he wants to, he can do that. He can call timeout. He can do anything. So let's not give Urban a free pass on that. It came through his headset, and he let it fly, So I think Bevel really found a little bit of a rhythm the other day.
Okay.
You can't win with 4 turnovers. I mean, they had 3 of the turnovers in scoring opportunity situations.
Yeah.
And then they had a pick 6. So I think that was his best game. So I would say, no, don't turn it over. Let's see if you can keep this going. And maybe it took 2 games, 3 games for Bevel to find it. I don't know why it took that long, but maybe it finally found the rhythm of this offense and what we said yesterday a little bit, right? Make James Robinson the focal point and let Trevor work around that focal point, which is James Robinson. I want to see if Bevel can do it 2 weeks in a row. I'm not off the Bevel train. I think a lot of people are. I think he struggled in the first 2 games. I really do. I think it's his job to put Trevor in a good situation. We're talking about Zach Taylor. It's Zach Taylor's job to put Burrow in a successful situation. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that throwing it 61 times was a successful situation, but it seemed to work for him. They were in the game, and he performed pretty well.
They're in competitive games.
Yeah.
Now, once again, you tell me to throw it 60 times a game, I'm going to say absolutely not. You're setting your quarterback up for failure. But then when I see the box score, when I see, you played in competitive games against the Cleveland Browns, who were a great team last year, well, then I can't really knock the attitude towards that because if you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think? I mean, do you think Urban Meyer should be more involved?
See, I mean, I think the way the NFL is going, and like we said, I mean, we mentioned Andy Reid. We mentioned Sean McVay. We mentioned Sean Payton. These offensive-minded coaches, they seem to have their hands on the playbook. They seem to be in every one of those quarterback rooms, to almost be like the quarterback whisperer, if you will. And this is like an offensive-minded coach thing. Now, with that being said, sometimes it can backfire. We'll look at Chicago right now. And Coach Nagy. I mean, he's getting literally just dragged through the streets right now,
Yes.
it seems like, because of the game plan that he had for Justin Fields. So I'm not saying it's always a positive thing. Sometimes it can backfire as well. I'm just saying it seems like if you're an offensive-minded head coach, they seem to have their hands on the playbook and the play calling a little more than obviously a defensive-minded coach. Who it seems to like a defensive-minded coach is just like all about attitude and let your defensive coordinator make the calls. Offense, it's a little different.
Yeah, in fairness, Urban is more. He might be offensive-minded, but he's kind of like Doug Marrone in the sense where he's more CEO type.
Yeah.
And he's going to let everybody else do it. Now, if he has to jump in, that's his job to jump in.
Sure.
He's got to be willing to do it. He's going to be able to do that. But I think you bring up a good point. Sure, Schottenheimer and Bevel are attached to Trevor Lawrence. But it does feel a little bit different than McVay being attached to Goff initially, right? And also Zach Taylor being attached to Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Stefanski being attached maybe to Mayfield to come in and rescue him and save him. Joe Brady now brought in to be like fam right there with Sam Darnold or whoever the quarterback was. Those young guys that feel like all they do all night long, all offseason is design plays.
Yeah.
And that's the knock on Nagy right now.
Yeah.
And that's what Orlovsky, we'll talk about a little bit later, and I think he's got a good point. You had 150 days or whatever to get your quarterback ready, and really the only thing that's important in Chicago is, does Justin Fields start to grow, and can he take this organization? Well, I could say the same for the Jags, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why did they struggle the first 2 weeks when really your only job since last December was to get Trevor Lawrence? I mean, he had the playbook before the draft. Last December was to get Trevor Lawrence in successful situations where you could say, hey, this is what he needs to do week 1. This is where I want him by week 4. This is where I want him by week 8. Like, they can map that out, and I'm not saying you lose games because of it, but you certainly keep track of where he is, and then they come out of the gates and throw 51 times. You're like, whoa, what the hell is going on?
For sure,
I mean, what are we doing here? You had all offseason to plan for 51 attempts?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair criticism.
Yeah.
And the coach even criticized it, you know?
It's an interesting thing because I always allude back to identity. What is your identity? Right now, this defense, they kind of know who they are. Offense is still trying to figure it out. And then, like, as I'm looking through the list here of teams in the NFL, and we see, like, they have offensive-minded head coaches, a lot of these teams, their coach is all in the playbook. Their coach is the guy on the headset making the calls. I mean, I can go top to bottom here and just name them off.
Yeah, well, you really are right, but not all though, right? Because McDermott's not doing it in Buffalo, and he's giving it to the offensive coordinator.
She is.
Miami, he's a defensive guy.
That's Flores, yeah. But I'm saying if you're an offensive head coach, like offensive-minded head coach,
I'm trying to find it, but look at the AFC East. There's none of them.
Yeah, for sure.
They're all defensive guys.
Correct.
All right, so Cincinnati is.
Yep.
Baltimore, not really.
Because,
right?
well, that's Harbaugh's special teams. Yep.
Cleveland, yes.
Stefanski, yes.
Pittsburgh, no.
Tom, defense.
So right now we have like one or two.
Yeah.
Okay, Tennessee.
That's
not
defensive.
Really.
That's variable.
Houston, I don't know.
I have no idea.
And there's no quarterback to really work with.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I'd say yes.
Yep.
Indianapolis, yes.
Of course.
And he's not doing a great job getting,
Yeah.
Wentz playing well enough.
Yeah.
Vegas, absolutely.
Yep.
Denver, no.
Defensive minded.
The Chargers, no.
No.
That's Staley out
Yep.
there. Kansas City,
Obviously.
yes. Right?
Dallas, yes.
Dallas,
Mike McCarthy.
yes. Washington, no.
Ron Rivera, no.
Philadelphia, yes.
Yep.
The Giants, no. The Packers, yes.
Yep.
Young guy.
Is he
working
calling?
with
Is making the
Rodgers.
calls too?
I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no. Heck.
Well, I think LaFleur
Yeah,
makes
he
all
makes the calls. Okay,
well,
yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers makes the calls.
No, for sure, for sure. Chicago, yes.
Chicago, yes, in a bad way. Minnesota.
Defensive minded coach Zimmer.
Detroit, no.
Nope.
Carolina, rules not. No, I mean,
No, he's not making the calls.
Tampa, yes.
Mhm.
But again, you got Brady. That's weird.
Yeah.
New Orleans, yes.
Peyton. Yeah.
Atlanta, yes. Los Angeles, some good radio right now. I know it. Los Angeles, yes.
McVay, Kingsbury, yes.
Arizona, yes. San Francisco, yes. And Seattle, no.
So no,
16, that's half the league.
But
There's
yeah,
not 16 of them.
But now of those teams that we just named off, and once again, great radio. But of those teams that we just named off, what? So there's 16 teams in the NFL that have offensive-minded coaches.
Yeah.
How many of those teams where their coach isn't the one making the calls? It's probably like two
Very
or three.
few, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So-
Jacksonville is one of them.
And Jacksonville is one of them.
Yeah.
You're right. So,
I mean, I'm just there.
yeah. Well, it is. That's
What does
it
it
is.
mean, though? I have no idea. But
I'll tell you this. I'll say something about that. Well, there's a couple of things. The Jags, if they wanted that, they could have maybe got that.
Sure.
The enemy,
Sure.
Dable.
But keep in mind, even
Right.
the enemy's not making the calls, though, in Kansas City.
Well, he's not, but he
Yeah,
would have if
he
he got
would.
the head job. You'd think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would think.
Yeah.
I mean, not 100%, but Dable and if he had gotten the job. Okay, so those are a couple examples. We could go over more. That if they did hire them, they would be attached at the hip. And that's all they care. It's almost like that offensive guy. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about special teams. He doesn't care about defense. He says, all right, you guys handle that.
Yeah.
I'm making sure my quarterback has the right plays because that's what I'm judged on.
Yeah.
Right? And that's appropriate. I'm going to go back to 2017. And this is a move that I thought they might make at the time. And once I heard, well, first of all, we heard Marone was announced before Coughlin. So this would have been in the weeks leading up when we heard Coughlin's name maybe mentioned as a possible guy coming back in some capacity. What I thought that we might get is the old school guy in Coughlin and the young guy in Sean McVay.
Oh, wow.
That's what I remember talking about that, being like, I wonder if they take the chance, right? And you have McVay come in, and now you've got this guy that can help him through the ropes who's been in the league forever.
Yeah.
Well, look what McVay did. What did he do right away in L.A.? He put Wade Phillips on his staff.
True.
The guy's like 68 years old. He's been around the league. He
Smart.
knows the league,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He had some veteran coaches around him to kind of help him through some of that stuff, but he was this smart young gun offensive guy, and listen, he got the most out of golf that maybe anybody ever will get out of golf.
But it also begs the question, though, how would Sean McVay and Tom Coughlin interact? Because it's still
that's
Sean
fair.
McVay's team,
That's
right?
true,
Like, I mean, he came in this young hotshot, and he ran everything.
He did, and by the way, that's why it probably never did happen.
Never worked,
Never
yeah.
even worked. I just thought, what if they gambled and did that? I remember thinking it around that time. But instead, they got somebody that, at least at the time, face value, is like, well, Marone, he'll be really happy just to have a new head coaching job, right? He's not got all these people after him and chasing him. And this might be the only chance, and he'll listen to what Tom has to say, and Tom can kind of run the show. Exactly the dynamic of that, how it would have worked out, I'm not sure, but it went through my mind at the time that they would bring a guy like McVay in underneath Coughlin. Never transpired. But if you fast forward to this year, they could have gone that route instead of Herbert.
Okay.
They could have said, hey, Dable, the enemy, any of those kind of guys that you knew would be attached to the Trevor Lawrence quarterback situation, and they chose not to. And I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. It's just a different, version of some of these offenses, to your point.
Shot clock violation on us. My bad, Casey.
Oh, I didn't even hear him say anything.
Oh, I mean, I feel like we've gone way over.
Probably did. I got music playing here at Top Golf as well. That was a fun topic. Sorry, Casey. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunshine pushing temperatures into the upper 80s, at least inland this afternoon. A little bit cooler at the beaches. Nice tonight. We drop into low to mid-60s. And partly to mostly sunny tomorrow on Thursday. The warm afternoons continue with highs both days in the upper 80s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Now you can buy like a dealer buys. Save thousands on thousands of diamonds for a limited time at Beard's Diamonds.
Been thinking about selling your car? Think you can get more selling it on your own? That can be a big hassle, not to mention scary too. Find out what your vehicle is really worth with the coolest technology available. ACV Auctions will be in Jacksonville this Friday and Saturday. You can drive in, have your vehicle scanned, and watch as hundreds of auto dealers bid on it in a live auction setting. You can sell it on the spot or just find out what it's worth. It's that easy, and it's free. Proudly hosted by the Tom Bush family of dealerships. 9850 Atlantic Boulevard.
If you're anything like me, then cars were an important part of your childhood growing up. Literally, some of my very first memories involved helping my grandpa build old cars. If you're into cars, then you know that the technology is always evolving, which is why there's a demand for well-trained automotive technicians. As a student in the automotive technology program at JTech, you'll be learning basic automotive maintenance, diagnostic procedures, and effective repair methods while using testing equipment and specialized tools. The program also includes training on electrical, HVAC, engine performance, suspension, steering, brake systems, and transmission diagnosis and repair. Their shop settings are designed to represent the actual automotive environments that you will be experiencing when you get into the automotive industry. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
Here in the Sunshine State, more than 3 million men are over age 45, and over half suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Brown. If you're having problems in the bedroom and pills like Viagra have let you down, you'll see results at Prime Men's Medical Center, guaranteed, or your exam is free. And it's affordable.
Call 904-664-8217. Guaranteed results on your first visit or your exam is free. Call 904-664-8217.
September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. The Child Cancer Fund has teamed up once again with local organizations for a community initiative called Home Team Jags. Together, this team provides world-class pediatric cancer care to local children battling cancer and invaluable resources to families all year long. In September, the Child Cancer Fund comes together to raise awareness for childhood cancer with other local organizations. To learn more about Home Team Jax and its providers and partners, visit hometeamjax.org.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
CMG Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit cmglocalsolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. That's cmglocalsolutions.com or call 904-245-8878.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs. Make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Bozard Ford, Ford's Garage, and ESPN 690 are proud to present Be the Sun, Not the Salt Community Award.
Do you know any coaches, teachers, or mentors who are doing all the good they can in the community and should be recognized and rewarded for being positive energizers and making a difference? Are they kind, authentic, compassionate, and positive? Then tell us why they deserve to be recognized. You and your nominee can win free stuff just for being sunny, not salty.
Details and nomination forms are available on ESPN 690's website, powered by Be the Sun, Not the Salt, Bozard Ford, Ford's Garage, and Cox Media Group.
We will meet you at home. The state of Florida is committed to assisting homebound seniors who want to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. If you or someone you know would like assistance with transportation in getting to a COVID-19 vaccination appointment or would like a vaccine brought to your front door, then the Department of Elder Affairs Area Agencies on Aging are here to help. For assistance, call 1-800-96-ELDER. This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hey, it's Brett Mortno from Action Sports Jax. Did you know you can watch watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jax on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jax. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
The coach should be moved from his position of coach. They should fire Matt Nagy. He had 149 days since the moment he drafted Justin Fields to build this game plan. It was the worst offensive game plan I've ever seen in my life. And it was either intentional or negligent. You either showed everybody that you're incapable of taking talent and building a plan and an offense around a certain style and skill set talent-wise, or you took that talent and said, I don't want to do it. I'm going to set him up to struggle. I'm going to set him up to fail and our whole offense. So it was either or. It's very black and white to me.
That is Dan Orlovsky. He went after it on Get Up yesterday morning.
It sounds like somebody wants the job.
Maybe somebody wants the Chicago job.
Sounds like Orlovsky wants the job.
I think Orlovsky's got a better job than Nagy, quite frankly.
Right now he does for sure.
I don't know. But does he have a point? Brett Martineau, Austin Lane back here at Top Golf. Tuesdays at Top Golf. Every Tuesday, Josh Scobie will join us from 5 until 6 p.m. We had a lot of fun last week with Scobie, so hopefully we'll do it again. Come on out, say hello. I got a good crowd out here at Top Golf early in the afternoon, and that will grow as we go along. Does he have a point, though?
Yes.
9 sacks for Justin Fields. Yes. You can talk about all the messes going on. Zach Wilson, I don't know if they're putting him in a bad situation or if they just stink. Mm-hmm. The Jags, you could argue, put Trevor in a tough situation the first couple weeks, especially week 1, without running the football enough and the way the game flow went. But 9 sacks the other day, I kind of agree. I didn't even watch the game, and I agree with Orlovsky just by looking at the stats.
I saw a lot of the highlights because we had to do our quarterback grades today. I just wanted to see what happened with Justin Fields. And, it's crazy because if you go back to the preseason, we're doing our quarterback grades. Like, Justin Fields, I thought, shined. And people were excited for Justin Fields. And why was that? Well, because Matt Nagy put him in situations to succeed. And that was getting Justin Fields on the move, using his legs, and then obviously, using your arm when you can. If you watch that game on Sunday with the 9 sacks, and I get it, your offensive line probably not the best in the league, obviously. Anytime you give up over, 4 sacks, it's probably not that good. 9 sacks is ridiculous. But at the same time, you had 0 plays designed to use Justin Fields in motion, in movement, where he shines, where he showed you in preseason that he can flourish. And you chose to make him a statue back there, which makes 0 sense to me. It's almost like they had Andy Dalton in mind the entire game, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, Fields go in there, but I'm going to call the Andy Dalton script. That's what it seemed like for me, and obviously it backfired.
Yeah. Who do people hate more, by the way, the offensive line or offensive coordinators?
Ooh. That's a good call. I would probably say offensive coordinators.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
because –
a close one, man.
No, for sure.
I'm talking like fan bases. I seriously think Bevel did a pretty good job the other day. If I throw that out there, people would laugh at it. I did throw it out there. I'm not sure they're laughing, but I bet they would. I bet most people are like, Brent, you're crazy. He sucks. They had 4 turnovers. I don't think so. I think if you go back and look at that game, I think they had a nice balance. I think they set Trevor up pretty nicely. They made adjustments from the first 2 weeks. They called up what can now be considered a bonehead play, mostly because it didn't work. But even that play probably should have worked if executed. And, they turned it over. Again, the offensive coordinator can't account for it. Now, you could put that one on him, but you can't put the other 3 on him, in my opinion. So, but I think people just can't stand the offensive coordinators. I think video games have a little to do this. Everybody thinks they know how to call a play in the flow of a game. So that's a little bit of it. But everybody hates their offensive line, too. So that's why I kind of it's always offense.
Yeah, I think in this last game, though, in the rarity, I think people want to blame the offensive line more just because, what it comes down to this past Sunday was, Andrew Norwell letting J.J. Watt go through on that flea flicker. If that's not the case and Norwell blocks his guy, maybe we'll have a different conversation today of what happened. So I think, this past Sunday is the rare case where the offensive line is more to blame than actually the play calling is, but usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, usually it can be. And by the way, the offensive coordinator can also – we think the offensive coordinator is just in charge of points. Well, I guess so. Making the quarterback look good. Yeah, I guess so. But it's also in charge of making the offensive line look good. A lot of people will tell you those 51 throws in that season opener against Houston makes the offensive line put in a tough spot.
Sure.
Right? If they just know you're going to pass every down. So it's interesting to watch. We'll see if Bevel can get a little bit more of a rhythm. I don't know if Nagy can. I mean, I don't think they're going to fire Nagy, by the way, like right now. But I'd love to know the odds on the head coach firing because he's got to be up at the top of the list.
He's definitely the front runner right now. Yeah, because number one, you sacrifice to get this guy, and this is kind of your last shot. And then when you get an opportunity to put him in the game and to set him up for success, he has a horrible – your offense looks, anemic, if you will.
Yeah. How hard was the short week to play on for you?
Thursday night against the Tennessee Titans, it seemed like every single year. No. I'm trying to think back. Like, I don't think I played into – because back in, I don't think it was a lot of Thursday night. I can't remember. Because, was it always mandatory? That every team had to play a Thursday night game? Like back in 2010?
I forget when it started.
Yeah,
I just kind of assumed that it's been going on for that long, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think it would be pretty hard.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty hard.
Yeah. I remember I played in one of them, and it was a rough one.
Yeah. We're talking about the quarterbacks. Let's get to the rookie report card. And let's be honest now. These rookies are struggling. It's not just Trevor. It's Justin Fields. Mac Jones isn't winning games. He had his worst game.
Sure.
The other guy, obviously Zach Wilson's really struggling. The other guy out there in San Francisco, Trey Lance, isn't playing that much.
Yeah.
He's getting a little shot here or there.
Yeah, he's getting a little extra credit.
Yeah, a little extra credit. But let's take a look at the rookie report card. Where did you go with Trevor Lawrence coming off this game? This is going to be interesting to hear because I messed around with this one a couple of times.
Oh, here we go. Brent's going to give him like a B or something. I had to give Trevor Lawrence a D.
He did.
I did. The turnovers, and I get some of them weren't his fault, but at the end of the day, your numbers speak for themselves, and it's a performance-based business, and it didn't look good. So Trevor Lawrence, unfortunately, gets a D, which I don't like saying, but it is what it is.
What else? Is it strictly just the turnovers? Outside of that, did you see him play pretty well? Did you see some things that you liked?
So, obviously the touchdown pass to DJ Chark sticks out to me. In retrospect now, and we're talking about that game, like how many plays did Trevor Lawrence provide us that game? Probably not that many. How many moments was like, oh, man, what was that? There was a couple of those. So just overall, and it's ironic because it's probably the best offensive called game as well. And I'm giving him one of his lowest grades, but you didn't get the win, number one, obviously. The numbers were okay, number two. I have to give you a D.
That's interesting you said that because I did go C+.
There you go.
And I totally I disagree with you on the turnovers. When you can sit there and say 3 turnovers were really not his fault, and even the play call, the pick six he's got to own because you can't just throw it up there.
Mm-hmm.
But, even that, we could blame Bevel, we could blame Norwell, we could blame all the others. But I just think, like, the ball gets knocked out of your hand. I think his decision-making was good. I think I heard him say that today, too. I actually think the oh-wow throw was the Chark, and actually had a couple other intermediate throws that were oh-wow throws. Like, dang, man, that's good. But I almost think it's better that he didn't have more oh-wow throws because that means he didn't take as many risky shots down the field. He learned from week 2 to 3 to say, I'll take the check down. I'll make a shorter play, a more conservative throw. His percentage was better. I thought he put the Jags in pretty good position to score more points. And they just didn't do it because of the turnovers off Hollister's hand and then the fumble late in the game as well. So
yeah, but keep in mind that one off Hollister, if he goes deeper to Marvin Jones, it could be a touchdown.
Yeah, you didn't like the read, but that's okay. I think you could take every quarterback and say, hey, there are 2 guys that you could have picked right there. I'm not saying I don't know if he made the wrong read there. They would have got the first down. It would have been first and goal.
But is the right read a touchdown or is it the wrong read?
It wouldn't have been a wrong read if he went there and completed it,
Sure.
but I just don't think that should have been a completion for a first down.
No,
I don't know if that's a wrong read
hear
either.
you. No, I hear you. It wasn't his fault that the ball got intercepted, but that's why I take into account to a lot of these grades I'm about to give out as well, because a lot of these turnovers that these guys had weren't their fault either. But
yeah,
I just think if the
play goes for a successful play, is it a bad read? I don't know.
No, if the play goes successful, then I'm probably going to give you maybe a C- because you don't have another turnover.
Yeah. And you might have 26 points.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the game. So, anyway, listen, to ask Casey, I went back and forth, too. I
almost
dropped them down because the turnovers do stick out to you.
Yep.
I just think it goes back to he's not getting a lot of help. I thought he did more wrong the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
than he did this game. And this, to me, adds up to guys got to help him out. Coordinator got to put him in good situations. Guys got to make good plays. And they didn't in some of those big mistakes. All right, let's move on. Who's else? Zach Wilson. I've got him as a D.
Zach Wilson got a D as well. And the one interception wasn't his fault at all, but it is what it is. It's still your decision, still your throw. So I gave him a D, and he's right in Trevor Lawrence territory.
And by the way, I feel like I almost want to give Zach Wilson a higher grade just for effort because he is in a crappy situation right now. I mean, he is really in a bad situation, hard situation to succeed if you're a young quarterback in the NFL with the way their offensive line is playing too.
Well, and even Robert Saleh said after the game, they're not going to get fancy on offense. It's going to be very vanilla, and until Zach Wilson gets some experience. So the play calling is doing him zero favors as well. And when he has a decent throw, the receiver can't make the catch, and then it's an interception as well. So the team right now is not helping Zach Wilson whatsoever.
I was an easy grader. I gave him a D+ because of those things. I just don't think he any help. I mean, he's put in such a tough spot.
Yeah.
All right, Trey Lance. We can go quick on here.
Extra credit.
Yeah, I mean, I put a thumbs up emoji.
There you go. Nice, man. I like it.
Justin Fields.
I gave him a D+.
Did I go D or D+ here? I'm not sure, Casey. Or D- even. Listen, the numbers are atrocious.
Sure.
But kind of what Zach Wilson I'm talking about kind of happens with Justin Fields. It's hard to grade the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's put in a can't-win situation, essentially.
Yeah, the reason why I gave him a D+ and not just a regular D is because, of all things considered, getting sacked 9 times, offensive line doing nothing at all to help you, and the fact that the play calling was atrocious, you didn't turn the ball over, and you kept your team in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
You walked away from the game.
Yeah, you walked away from the game, too. Yeah.
And then Mac Jones. Where'd you go on Mac Jones? I gave him a D.
I gave Mac Jones a D-.
Maybe I gave him a D- too. I don't know. But this was Mac Jones' worst game.
Yep.
I gave him a D. But the 3 turnovers.
Yep.
And he had done a lot of things right, but just kind of he hadn't been really wow, right?
Yeah.
In the first couple games, but he just done everything right. Well, this game he didn't. I mean, he cost them. And that's going to happen with rookies.
Are you going to give probably the highest rated guy of the list that we didn't name yet?
Yeah, I'm going to get Davis Mills.
Yeah, what do you got for him?
I got a B-.
B-, nice. See, I went with a C.
Okay.
Where, I mean, it was average. I mean, you let him down there. It didn't look necessarily the most sexiest sometimes, but you competed. You did what you had to do, and I gave him a C.
Yeah, and listen, here's the reason I think he did kind of he didn't make big mistakes. He was under pressure a lot, and he still – again, I looked at one time, it was 12 for 17, I think it was, for 100-something yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. I mean, I don't think they could ask more for a guy in a short week to do much more than that, right? I mean, this is a guy that's not supposed to be playing right now.
Sure.
And I thought he jumped in and did an admirable job. He kept them in the game. They didn't really have a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think he lost the game. I mean, Mac Jones lost the game for him.
I
mean, Zach Wilson continues to lose games. Justin Fields, I think the whole team lost. I mean, even Trevor Lawrence, you can argue he lost the game because of the pick 6, right? So I think Davis Mills actually was somewhat impressive in that start the other day against a team that's looking pretty good right now in Carolina. All right, that's going to do it for our rookie quarterback grades each and every week here on Tuesday. Coming up, we go around the NFL in just a little bit. We are live at Top Golf. Top Golf on Tuesdays. Come on out. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Mike Greenberg is Greeny.
Did anyone watch football last year and think, you know what, I think there's just too much taunting going on? These guys seem to be too excited when they make big plays, and every now and again, it seems to be in the face of their opponent. This does not have any impact on the competition of the game until you choose to make it so. And what I'm suggesting is don't choose that. Don't choose that.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
There used to be one kind of calculator, one that added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided. Now, on the Home Depot app, we have project calculators for everything. Tile calculators, countertop calculators, moving calculators, mulch calculators, air conditioning calculators, wallpaper calculators, grass seed calculators, installation calculators, decking calculators, paint calculators, drywall calculators, and fencing calculators to take the guesswork out of your home improvement projects. The Home Depot app. How doers get more done.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. and get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299. All on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Just be in control. With free interest checking and great digital tools, Community First makes smarter banking simple. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wing Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
If you live in the Southeast, you know that air conditioning is king. And as the population grows, so does the need for more AC units, which means that there's more demand for technicians. And guess what? The HVAC industry is growing 13% faster than your average job, according to the 2018 Bureau of Labor Statistics. And on top of that, the average pay is over $22 an hour. And this is where JTech comes in. When you attend the HVAC-R program at JTech, you'll get the hands-on training that is focused on understanding the different types of HVAC systems, logical diagnostic procedures, effective repair methods, and so much more. And by the end of the program, you're going to be trained on all the necessary areas that employees are looking for, so you can be their first-round pick as a technician or an installer. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
Are you an experienced diesel technician that's in fear of losing your job due to the recent vaccine mandates? Bobcat of Jacksonville is a family-owned, mandate-free employer offering great pay and benefits. Apply today at bobcatjax.com.
Cox Media Group and our listeners helped Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency, successfully finish their Furnish Their Future campaign. Combined with a matching grant from the Dolores Bar Weaver Legacy Fund, your donations raised in excess of $150,000 in 150 days to furnish Daniel's treatment cottage. Kids with mental issues coexisting with intellectual and developmental differences will soon have an ideal healing environment. Thank you for helping Daniel kids.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wetjet. With Swiffer Wetjet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wetjet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Whether on your radio, on your phone, or your smart speaker.
Now playing ESPN Radio.
He's seen guys that's not even going to make the team. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards in a game.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
You know, we have practice that we were ready for. It was in the game plan, and everything that's in the game plan is fair game, so you're just ready for it whenever. And on plays like that, it's tough because when it works, it's the best call ever, and when it doesn't, it's like, oh, why'd you call? You know, so it's like you just got to execute it. But I thought it was a good call in the situation and didn't execute it. And then for me, it's just on plays like that, instead of making a bad play worse, throw it away. You know, live with it. It's all right. Don't try to force it. So, but yeah, no, that was just one of our plays that we have in kind of all the time. But some games we'll use it or it'll be in the plan, and sometimes it's not.
How many trick plays are in the playbook?
That's a good question. I mean, there's got to be, let's say, like A handful, like 5 or 6, would you say? I mean,
would
you're
say.
asking the wrong guy here, but I'm on defense.
I know. Well, okay, so I was going to ask you this. When you would go over a team, like film and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You're obviously not going to see a trick play every week.
No, not at all.
But how much does like a defensive coordinator potentially pull up, say, hey, a year ago or 3 months ago or 3 games ago, they ran this play. You got to be aware now. They might run this play. This guy likes to be a little bit more of a riverboat gambler or whatever it might be.
You know, it's crazy that you say that because, like, in terms of flea flickers, in terms of, like, reverses, we never really addressed those, like, at all. It was more like, like a jet sweep, which is funny. I call a jet sweep a trick play. Like, back then it seemed like to be like a trick play. Now it's kind of just a common thing with a lot of teams. But overall, we didn't really adjust any of the trick play just because, like, you only get so much time in a day. You only get so much time in a meeting to go through an offense of what they like to do, their tendencies, all of this stuff. And to spend energy saying, all right, well, watch out for this reverse play that we saw, 2 years ago against, Cleveland. Like, it's hard to squeeze it all in. So, no, it wasn't a lot of trick plays, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. But then I almost wonder, all right, if teams probably aren't going to prep for them, why don't you do it more?
See, when it comes down to there, it's guys being on their keys, right? Because, like, any kind of trick play, whether it's a reverse, well, if your defensive end stays home like he's supposed to, or outside linebacker stays home like he's supposed to, that play doesn't happen. In a flea flicker, well, if you take your man and you stay on your man when you're one-on-one battle, that play doesn't happen either. Now, obviously, you have to have the eye discipline, and it's super hard when it's a handoff. It's, this has got to be a run. That's what your eyes are telling you. But you have to be more disciplined. So it just comes down to more of guys being on their P's and Q's and doing their job, even though your eyes may tell you something different.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like it's a test of human nature.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what you're trying to do. I mean, and that's what happens. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, here at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and Tuesdays at Top Golf. Good to be here. Take some swings and have some food and drink. Josh Scobie will join us 5 o'clock until 6 o'clock, Tuesdays at Top Golf, each and every Tuesday during the football season. We've had fun coming out here. Hope you can join us. Come on by, swing by, say hello if you're around. Hey, the corners of Cincinnati, it doesn't scare you. I mean, they're secondary. Mm-hmm. It's their front seven that can be effective. Mm-hmm. Even there's not like, after the first, well, I guess Houston didn't really have like players that like, whoa. But Denver did. I mean, Von Miller and Bradley Chubb and then Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt and Budda Baker and Isaiah Simmons. And, I mean, they have players who are like, since he's weird like that, right? I mean, on offense, they got Jamar Chase who's playing really well. And you've got Joe Mixon who you got to account for. And Joe Burrow looks like he's a fine player. Yeah. Outside of that, you're not going to be like, whoa, now, watch out. Yeah. You got to prepare for this and this and this. This guy can really light you up. I don't really. Again, T. Higgins and Boyd and those
Chase
guys.
is playing at a very high level. I mean,
Chase
for a rookie, Chase
well.
is doing good.
And so, but on the defensive side, you're kind of. It's like point. I mean, I don't want to call it a no-name defense, but it kind of feels like a no-name defense.
Yeah.
I mean, who's really their best player was their linebacker last week, who I don't even know much about. He had 2 picks and like 14 tackles.
Yeah, I mean, like I've heard names like Trey Hendrickson before and Sam Hubbard on the defensive line in terms of edge rush. Logan Wilson, is a name you've heard before, more than likely.
Had the big game.
Yeah, you've heard him before a little bit. But no, you're absolutely right. Like on paper, let's be honest, it's kind of like this is a Joe Cullen phrase he used to always say. It's kind of like the Sisters of the Poor. Now, I don't even know what that means in terms of Sisters of the Poor, but he used to always call our defense the Sisters of the Poor because nobody knew who we were.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what that means. I'm not sure if that's an old movie reference or what. But that's what it kind of reminds me of a little bit, where you don't really know their names per se, but obviously playing a pretty good brand of football right now. And it's coupled with an offense that seems to get the ball moving pretty well.
Well, I say that, though. Maybe the Jags can get their offense cooking.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh couldn't.
Yeah.
Now, they turned it over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you turn it over, it doesn't matter who you're playing.
Correct.
But I guess what I'm getting at, do I
like the matchup? Yeah, I mean, I think I like the matchup from, if we're talking about what the goal is going to be, and I think I agree with you in terms of protecting Trevor Lawrence, maybe taking some of the burden off him even more, running with James Robinson and now Carlos' side. You might have an advantage in the trenches, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you could. Now, again, short week, everybody's short week. I think the road team's at a disadvantage. But this on paper to me should be their bet. They should keep it growing, right? If they keep taking a step, which is a positive. I don't want to overplay that. They're 0-3. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. It is baby steps around here, but still, But if they do take another step, this is a team that they could maybe put some points up against.
You said last week that it was going to be a closer game than people expected against the Cardinals, and
Yeah.
for a while it was. What are your expectations with this game compared to the Cardinals?
It scares me because I genuinely don't like the visiting team on a Thursday night. I don't care who you are, and especially when you have a young team and a coach that hasn't done this before and a quarterback that really hasn't done this before, and he's already coming off a game where he got beat up a little bit. I don't love it. I don't love the Jags here. But again, I have a hard time selling anybody on the Bengals. I don't think they're great. But I think the Jags, with their national embarrassment trend and history, scares the hell out of me, quite frankly. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We go around the NFL. There's some big topics, including what's it like going home for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It's a story of the week in the NFL. We talk about it on ESPN 690.
Okay, I get it. So the summer season's almost over, but that's why we live in Florida. And that's why our friends at Arlington are doing fall Florida style with hot temps and even hotter deals. Get to Arlington Toyota today because they have 400 new Toyotas available with interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And every new car purchase gets a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/September for full details.
Mom, can we have some ice cream?
I've got a better idea. Who wants to help me make something fun and healthy instead?
Eating smarter is easy and delicious. Interested in receiving healthy recipes and a whole lot more in your email? Then register at healthiestweightfl.com and learn more about all the small steps that you can take on the way to living healthy. This message is sponsored by the Ounce of Prevention Fund of Florida, the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution.
I'm Dr. Brown. 98% of patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call Prime Men's Medical Center at 904-664-8217. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks R Us Training Helpline. Today, we're discussing the differences between a SafeTouch security system and a do-it-yourself security system.
One's professionally installed and monitored, while the other one comes in a box.
Well, yeah, there's that. As you know, houses with SafeTouch security systems are strictly off-limits to us crooks, for many reasons.
Professional installation and monitoring among them.
Correct. And by contrast, alarm systems that come in a box with do-it-yourself installation are a crook's best friend.
Plus, they have DIY monitoring. No comparison to SafeTouch's two-way communicator.
Excellent point. So to sum up, as crooks, you'll want to avoid any house with SafeTouch security. And tell your loved ones, if they're going to buy something that comes in a box, just make it cornflakes.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Massive increases in online ordering since the pandemic have sent demand for delivery truck drivers through the roof. And with that being said, the increased competition for those willing to be long-haul truckers has led to pay for drivers to be at an all-time high. Truck drivers are the glue that holds supply chains together, and no container, straight truck, or trailer moves without, at some point, a truck driver. So that means that right now there are high-paying job opportunities for people that are willing to get their Class A commercial driver's license, and J-Tech can help. J-Tech Institute's 4 or 8 week commercial truck driving and CDL program is helping students acquire the skills necessary to prepare for their CDL examination and to launch successful careers as commercial truck drivers. To learn more about J-Tech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, no panic in Pittsburgh, even with the Steelers at 1-2, last in the AFC North, and the team struggling on both sides of the ball, according to Coach Mike Tomlin. Tomlin said today his main focal point this week is for he and his staff to improve things for the Steelers schematically. A couple of ways to do that, notes ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
You have to get into big personnel, bring tight ends in, put Watt back there at fullback, and allow them to become a kind of what New England did 4 or 5 years ago. Remember when they kind of reverted back to old school football? If that gives you the best chance to win because it complements your defense, that's the way they need to go.
NBA at Lakers Media Day today, LeBron James said initially he felt skepticism regarding the COVID-19 vaccine, but ultimately decided to get it for the well-being of himself, his family, and his team. Last week, GM Rob Pelinka said he expects the entire roster to be deemed fully vaccinated by the start of the regular season. Baseball, Cardinals tonight go for a 17th straight win when they take on the Brewers. St. Louis clinches the second NL wildcard spot with a win or losses by the Phillies and Reds. Connecticut forward Jonquel Jones named WNBA MVP.
Want to look like $1 million? Upgrade to a Dollar Shave Club 6-blade razor for a noticeably smooth shave thanks to their 6 precision-cut stainless steel blades. Find your perfect shave with Dollar Shave Club stores. Yup, that's Dollar Shave Club in store. So go to the store and find them.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I feel like every week I've gotten better. I think against the Texans I had a few bad decisions that maybe didn't get intercepted, but were close, and a lot of them were intercepted. And then against the Broncos, a little less. And then against the Cardinals, I felt like I made really good decisions besides the one that ended up being a pick six, which hurt us. But I really felt like that was my only bad decision in traffic. I felt like I was really clean on all my other reads. So I definitely feel the progress. I feel like I'm seeing it really well, and I feel good about where I'm at.
That's a good sign for Trevor Lawrence. If he feels good, staying confident, sees the progression, even not in wins, I think that's a good sign for the young quarterback to stay confident. I don't think this is a guy that's going to be shaken, which is good.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
It's really the biggest part right now.
And again, because we've seen it the other way now, and it's easy to get shook in the NFL as a young player. Like, you really have to wonder that about Zach Wilson and even Justin Fields right now. And I understand Wilson looks like he's got the moxie, the personality, that ego almost to be okay with that. But he's also in that market,
Yeah.
and that can really weigh on you. I don't care what I don't care what your makeup is. You're human, and so can he overcome some of that? And hopefully he does. Now Justin Fields too. If this continues for Justin Fields, it'll be a major issue for the development of this young man. I mean, you might be better off putting him on the bench. When you're in a bad situation when you're better off putting the quarterback on the bench. And listen, it's fair to wonder, all these teams are bad for a reason. That's why they're with these teams.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're seeing 1 in 10 out of the rookie class so far.
You are, and I don't want to call it the Blaine Gabbert effect quite yet because it's still very early on in the season, but we've seen what happens when it goes bad early right away and what it can do to a quarterback's psyche and his confidence. And I'm just worried. Okay, so we mentioned Zach Wilson. We mentioned, obviously, Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence seems to be fine. David Mills, I don't think there's really any question Mills is going to be the future in Houston. But, he's another guy as well. A guy like Trey Lance right now is buying his time. But I wonder if out of one of those guys, and Justin Fields obviously as well, out of one of those guys, I wonder if it's going to be such a detriment that we're not going to speak of him in a high caliber after this year, where it just actually goes downhill because the confidence is shot now because of just you were kind of set up for failure. I wonder if we had that conversation, at least one of these guys at quarterback. As long as that's Trevor Lawrence, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which it should be.
I don't think we'll get that with Mac.
Yeah.
Because it feels like they're smart enough not to do that.
Yeah.
I think Fields and Zach Wilson are the candidates, because Trey Lance isn't going to play enough.
True.
So at least not yet.
Yeah.
And I think they'll also take care of him because Shanahan knows well enough.
If anybody, you feel good about him right now just because he's on a great team. He's learning. and he's buying his time, which is what you want to do right now in the NFL.
And there's zero pressure on him.
Exactly.
Right, because if Garoppolo plays at least like he did at the end of the game the other day, then they'll be fine. They'll have a chance.
But it's also an interesting standpoint, too, because, like, you got to feel that if you're him at any time, you can go into the game. Right, so you still have to do the game plan. Like I get the sense with Aaron Rodgers when he got drafted with Brett Favre, like unless Brett Favre got catastrophically hurt, Rodgers wasn't going the game, and I think he understood that as well. He had to buy his time before Brett Favre. You know, with Trey Lance, it's like, all right, if Jimmy has a bad game, this might be your show for the rest of the season. So you have to be ready at all times. I think that helps out Trey Lance as well.
All right, let's go around the NFL. And Casey, do you want to start this, or should I start this with Brady and Belichick?
Why don't you start it with Brady and Belichick, since everything I have already happened and what you're implying hasn't happened yet?
Yeah, well, all right, let's start with this because it's the biggest story of the week. Who are you rooting for here? Brady or Belichick? Like, who? Is this a good-evil thing? Is it good-good? Is it I hate them both? I hated the Patriots? You know, what? How do you feel? Because everybody kind of has a feel, right? I'm not a diehard fan of any team, collegiately or whatever. But even when I watch a game, I'm like, you know what? I kind of wouldn't mind seeing this team win. You know, if you're a Bucs fan, you can't answer this question. You want the Bucs to win. If you're a Patriots fan, you can't answer this question. You want the Patriots to win.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to root against the Patriots.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that it's like Brady's had so much success, and it almost now feels like it's all Brady. You know, in that question of Brady or Belichick that we used to debate, it's like Brady just won a Super Bowl in Tampa, man.
Yeah.
And so are we now kind of tugging for the other side? Does it feel like Belichick's a bit of an underdog here?
So, you know, in terms of storylines and the narrative, I mean, I think it's good versus good just because I think both guys are great for the game of football.
Yeah.
Right now. This is almost like your modern-day Star Wars, though, where it's like, you know, they were both on the dark side for a long time. And when we love to cheer against them. And all of a sudden, Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay, a la Kylo Ren goes away from the dark side, and now we start cheering for this guy. Why? Because he's found himself now, right? Like, he's away from the evil empire. It gives him his chance to be himself a little more, have fun. He's doing Subway commercials, not eating the bread, getting drunk on boats and boat parades, and just he's having a blast. And it seems like he's making up for the lost time that he spent in New England. So I think in this story, it revolves around Tom Brady being the good guy, going back to the evil empire, and trying to finally, you know, put them to bed, put Bill Belichick to bed. And I think overall, in terms of football fandom, I think people are going to err on the side of Tom Brady more right now than cheering for the Patriots.
Casey?
Yeah, I'll cheer for Tom Brady because he's not the Patriots. Is that weird? Is that weird? Like, if it was Belichick as the coach of the Bucs, I'd be like, go Bucs, because it's not the Patriots. So that's where I fall.
This is where I always like to remind people. Right, when I was a kid, the Patriots sucked. Okay? When I was a kid, the Patriots weren't on TV because they were blacked out.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you went to the game to watch fights in the stands instead of the Patriots play.
Sure.
When I was a kid, I was a Dolphins fan because the Patriots were so bad.
Condolences to the Dolphins.
Let me guess, you walked uphill both ways to school, right?
No, I didn't do that. But you did go in one road and out one road in Foxborough.
Okay.
And it was a pain in the ass. I remember that when I was a kid, too, and I wasn't even driving.
How long is that line of traffic?
It was long.
I bet.
It was long.
All right.
If you've ever been to Penn State, it was kind of similar. Penn State's
Grab a
kind of
couple
like that.
Sam Adams,
one
I guess.
One way in, one way out.
Yeah, okay.
But, listen, I just want everybody to know that now everybody hates the Patriots because they were so successful. You know?
Yes.
This isn't like people hate the Yankees because it goes all the way back to like the 1920s.
For sure.
This isn't what the Patriots is, but it's fascinating in that regard. I kind of agree with you though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of rooting. I kind of root for the. I know so many Patriots fans, and I love everybody back home in Rhode Island. But you know what? I've had to deal with a lot of this stuff down here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
If you got to go to 1-3, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's okay with me. And Brady sooner or later is going to keep winning anyway.
Sure.
So here's the thing: you can root for whoever you want, but Brady's winning this game. I mean, the Bucs and Brady are just better.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, without a doubt, especially after what the Patriots defense did against the Saints. But don't you get the sense, like, and I get it, this is a huge game. It's going to be a must-see game. But like, I feel like even Patriots fans, and I don't know a lot of them, I feel like Patriots fans even like embrace Tom Brady still.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're still cheering for him.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, it's like when LeBron won the championship the second time in Cleveland, and then he left. The Cavs fans are like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's Cleveland. You're going to L.A. Like, thanks for the championship. We're still going to support you. Like,
Yeah, but like that the first time.
Well, no, the first time because he didn't win.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, Tom Brady won how much in New England?
Yeah.
So it's hard to hate on the guy now.
Well, I think they adore Brady.
Of course,
and
as he should.
I think they take Brady's side in this, and he's still getting it done. And let's just say this. I'm more of a Brady fan since he's joined the Bucs because of his personality.
Of course.
Right? Like, he's let loose, to your point. Mm-hmm. And he's not just, like, in this machine that is New England. Mm-hmm. He feels like he's a human being. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of the reason why we like Tiger Woods in the last 10 years more than we like everybody liked Tiger Woods in the first 10.
Sure.
Yeah, he was unbelievable, but he was robotic.
Correct.
Like, he wasn't a human being, it didn't feel like. And now we've seen the human element of Tiger, and more people root for him and have sympathy for him and all this stuff. Not that you need sympathy for Brady. He's doing just fine, but you get my point. So it's an interesting dynamic. We're going to take a look, by the way, at some of the returns for some big-time players, because outside of LeBron, there's one other one that I think maybe is close. But this is unlike just about anything.
Yeah.
To have somebody like Brady with his kind of success. Now, LeBron, again, does fit the bill here. I'm not sure many others do. One other certainly does. And we'll go there a little bit later on after we go around the NFL. So, Casey, take it away.
All right, Austin Lane, real quick. I'm wearing a Kylo Ren watch and a Star Wars shirt. Good job, man. Didn't see you. You didn't see me wearing those things, but great analogy. Love
All
it.
right, cool. I mean, you're the big Star Wars buff. Was my comparison on point though? We good?
Yeah, man, it was good. It's
Cool,
quality.
thank you.
It was quality.
I appreciate it.
With it. That's for sure.
I appreciate it, man.
No problem. So let's just start where you have to after you talk about Tom Brady, the GOAT. How about Justin Tucker? Does that relate? Maybe the GOAT of kicking, 66-yard field goal, longest in NFL history. Full transparency, by the way, when I recorded the Agnew punt return at the game, I honest to God thought I was recording the Matt Prater 68-yarder. That's why I got my camera out at first. Until the ball was in the air was when I was like, oh, crap, Agnew's back there. And then it worked out. But anyway, not important. So
funny. I gave you too much credit yesterday on the show then because I thought people whipped out their
Casey
phone
had a feeling.
because I thought people thought it was going to be short and they've seen this story before, you know?
Yeah, you did
a little bit of history.
You did give me too much credit, and I did not I didn't correct you. So, but now I just kind of played myself out. Anyway, not a big deal. But the point of the story is he had to make a 66-yard field goal for the Ravens to beat the Lions, of all teams, the Lions. So I guess kind of like what we did with the Texans already. Are the Lions, I know they're 0-3, but are they at least competitive? Are the Ravens not as good as we thought? What happened here?
Yeah, that was a weird game. Now, if you watch Hollywood Brown, I think I saw a couple of highlights. He just flat out dropped a couple of touchdowns, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that could have been way out of hand. I don't think Baltimore played very well. You know, coming off the Kansas, it's almost like a hangover coming off the Kansas City game for them. And they didn't play very well. I do think there's Campbell's doing a pretty good job getting these guys ready to go. The one difference he has compared to some of these other teams, like the Jags, is that he's got a guy that's played quarterback for a bit now. I mean, this guy's been around the league. He might not be that great, but he's still got a skills. The guy went to a Super Bowl, and he's not bad. Like, I don't think Goff's a terrible quarterback. He can throw it. He can make some plays. I don't think he's a good quarterback. But I think he's got that going for him, so occasionally he can keep – like, they might have some better players and more experienced players to be able to pull some of these upsets is my point.
So here's what I'm looking at with the Lions. Outside of Jared Goff, outside of DeAndre Swift, and outside of T.J. Hawkinson, name me 3 Detroit Lions players right now that are actually playing.
Yeah.
And don't tell me Akuda because Akuda's out.
Yeah, Akuda's out.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do, right? So obviously on paper, they're not winning any popularity contest per se. But they've been in some competitive games, and even that Green Bay game in the first half, they look good. And that, to me, is a testament to Dan Campbell. You know, I've said this before. I just feel like Dan Campbell is so crazy. Like, he's going to will them to wins. Like, if the coach is going to will someone to win, to me it's either Dan Campbell or it's Vrabel, because Vrabel has said some crazy stuff in the past as well. But when you get those head cases as head coaches, like, you just seem like that they can pull out some wins. I think it's going to happen eventually. And by the way, our dude the defensive coordinator, I think is doing a pretty damn good job. The guy from the Saints that I like, that Jacksonville should have went to go get. But we got Joe Collins, so it's all good.
Former line,
Saints.
The former player.
Yes, former player. I'm looking him up right now. But
not D'Amico Ryans. He's somewhere else. I can't remember either.
But I think he's doing
I think you're right.
Aaron Glenn.
Glenn.
Yep,
Glenn, okay.
Aaron Glenn.
Mark Brunell's up there too.
Yeah.
So I think Detroit will get some wins. To your point, I think they'll get some wins.
I mean, I can't name one wide receiver on that team. I'll be honest.
Yeah, they are void of talent, and they don't have a lot of it. But I do think they'll get some wins. Yeah.
Speaking of teams that have won, the 5 teams that have not lost a game yet are the Raiders, the Broncos, the Panthers, the Cardinals, and the Rams. Which of those teams is the best, and which is the worst?
Give it to me again.
The Raiders, Broncos, Panthers, Cardinals, Rams. 2 of those teams have played the Jags.
Okay, I would say the Rams are the best, and I would say Denver's the worst.
I'm going to say, in Casey, with all due respect to your team and Sam Darnold, I think right now if you lost Christian McCaffrey for a while, I think the Panthers move down to the worst.
Ooh, that's tough. And
I know it hurts you, but, I mean, you lost your big player. What do you want me to tell you?
Well, they lost their second big player because Sam Darnold, but yeah.
Who's the best?
That's a good point. Who's the best? I'm going to take the Rams as the best as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think – yeah, I'm not sold on Denver. Denver's had a very soft schedule to start. Yep. I mean, if you look at the combined record of Denver's schedule, it's what, 0-9?
Well, but who the Panthers played? The Panthers played the Jets, the Texans.
They had the one game, though. They beat the Saints.
Oh, the Saints. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
We'll get to the Saints in a little bit, but let's go to the Chargers, who go to Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs 30-24. Herbert, 281, 4 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes picked twice. We ready to say the Chargers are contenders?
Yeah, that was a big win for them. You know, my problem with the Chargers
too.
My problem with the Chargers is they don't know how to win. Well, they found a way to win that game.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a nice sign for them. You know, here's what's interesting. This is what's tough right now for some of these quarterbacks compared to, say, a Justin Herbert. Herbert has had a positive narrative around him since the minute he got in the league and performed. Mm-hmm. He performed well right away, and so there's this narrative like, hey, he's really good, really good. No. He's like might be on the verge of being great. He's super smart. He's athletic. He's this. He's big. I mean, this is a guy that has so much, I think, feel like momentum of positivity that even when they lose, people talk about him as good. Like Burrow had a little bit of that going for him, too, in the first 10 games last year. That's a different dynamic than, say, we've seen in Jacksonville before. Gabbert, Bortles, even now with Trevor or this class, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. These guys are off to rough starts. And so what does that do? Like, that's why I think sooner or later Trevor needs some moments. Yeah. Zach Wilson's going to need some moments. I'm not sure he's going to get them. But Trevor specifically, in my opinion, needs to have some clean games with some – so we can talk about that throw to DJ Chark only. Yeah. You know, and not the 4 turnovers. And the national guys can too. And you start building like, hey, look at down in Jacksonville. And this is a nice moment for it, Austin. Yep. You talk about these national games. This is a nice moment for Trevor to kind of gain a lot of attention. And on Good Morning Football and on ESPN's Get Up and everything else Friday, everybody's talking about Trevor Lawrence. Hey, he was the number 1 pick for a reason. Yeah. The Jags have something. Don't worry, Urban Meyer's going to be okay down there. They could use something like that.
It's a big game for the national narrative for sure. As long as I think the Chargers are the real deal, I do. I think that they have Justin Herbert, who's playing at a pretty good level. I think you have Keenan Allen, who can run any route and really is almost uncoverable. But now you have the emergence of fresh faces and young talent, like a guy like Mike Williams. Yeah. Mike Williams right now is taking the league by storm. Now, much to my dismay, because I drafted Keenan Allen instead of Mike Williams, I wish I would have drafted Mike Williams because the guy is a deep threat and absolutely crushing it right now, and you have the running game with Austin Eckler. So you have all the pieces to be successful on offense. You know, the defense has been the defense for the Chargers. So I think they have a good combination of offense and defense that, you know, can bend, but they're not going to break. And you have a coach that is willing to gamble. You know, in that Chiefs game, they could have played it safe and went to overtime. They said, no, we're going for the win, forget that. And they did, and it worked out well for them. So, you know, props to that. I think they have all the components to be a great team, so I'm believing in the Chargers.
You know they call Mike Williams BMW.
BMW?
Big Mike Williams, because he's big.
Ah.
Yeah.
Didn't even put that together.
Yeah, not bad.
I'm not mad at that at all.
What's the BMWs, though, like 7 Series or something like that?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 Series.
Yeah, I don't know about him like that. I can't afford one. We've talked a little bit about Matt Nagy and the Bears, so I'm going to spin this a little different than it says on the rundown. Justin Fields was sacked 9 times. After the sacks, they totaled 1 passing yard and 47 total yards. The question is, in one word and then why, how would you describe what happened to the Bears?
I'm going to say stunning.
Yeah.
And this could have gone embarrassing. I probably should go for another word. But
Yeah.
stunning because, like, the numbers you just said and what kind of numbers they put up doesn't happen in the NFL.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to happen. Like, the Jags had 189 yards last week, and I was like, what the hell is this? I mean, 189 yards, you should be doing that every quarter almost, it feels like, in today's football.
Yeah.
And so to see that, that was like, I mean, take you back to like 1998 and someone decided to throw it a lot and they couldn't block them, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Jags have had some 10-sack games, but I venture to believe that even against Houston and Indianapolis when they had those 10-sack games, they had way more yardage than like Chicago had. You know, so it's one thing to have the sacks. I mean, what's his name had 4.5 sacks in that game, by the way, Myles Garrett, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing for the sacks because we have seen games like that, but for the inability to move the football at all, to scheme a play, create a play. If you can't scheme a play in today's world, you're probably not good. To go back to Dan Orlovsky's point, it is built to scheme against defenses. And every rule says so.
Yeah.
Heck, run a pick play.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So I would say stunning that's all they got.
I think the one word that describes that showing is severance, as in severance packages, because honestly, I think if you're that organization right now and you're the ownership of the Chicago Bears, you got to take a long, hard look at the coaching and also the GM as well, because let's go back. Let's go back to all you sacrificed to give up to get Mitch Trubisky and how'd that pan out for you. Okay, so then you move there, and then you go to Nick Foles. You pay him the money. You know, you essentially trade him from Jacksonville. You give Jacksonville a way out, which was very kind of the Chicago Bears. And how did Nick Foles work out for you? Okay. So you bring in Andy Dalton. You think he's going to be the guy. Well, how's that been working out for you? Okay. And now you bring in Justin Fields. You sacrifice something to get him. There's all this excitement. And his first, game opportunity, you set him up for that. I'm not trying to go like the Dan Orlovsky route here, but this comes down to GM as well. I mean, this comes down to everybody. I think everybody right now should be underneath the microscope because we always talk about this. The head coach and the GM will always be tied to quarterback play. How has quarterback play been in Chicago for the past, 4 or 5 years? Not good. So I don't think it's the last straw, but man, are they on thin ice right now.
By the way, they also look discombobulated and don't have a plan. They say all 3 quarterbacks might be ready to go this week.
Yeah, what is that? I mean, no. You can't say things like that. Like, I don't know, man. And I don't know if that's more of Nagy just trying to send a message to the team, like everybody get ready. But the last thing you want your head coach to say, when you're getting ready for the next opponent is, oh, by the way, any quarterback could start. Good luck to everybody.
Yeah, that's grabbing at straws.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are considering playing a Bears quarterback, make sure you do some research before Sunday morning because for all we know, it could be Nick Foles. But, yeah, probably don't do
playing
that.
Because you might want to have it go pick up their defense.
Just play their defense, yeah.
That's a good call. Let's do
and
some.
By the way, sorry, poor Allen Robinson.
I know. Again.
I'm sorry. All right, yeah, I throw that in there.
You're good. Rapid fire, you know the drill. We'll start here. Keep in mind the backups of this team are Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins. How long should the Steelers stick with Big Ben? Does he finish the season as the starter for the Steelers?
Finish would be because of injury. They're sticking with him. They're not putting one of those guys in.
Yeah, I agree because we've seen those guys. We've seen what they bring to the table, and it's nothing special. Big Ben came back for a reason. Let him see it through.
Who wins a game first? The Giants, the Jets, the Lions, the Colts, or the Jags?
Oh, Jags do play on Thursday Night Football.
Say those teams again one more time. Sorry.
The Giants, the Jets, the Lions, the Colts, and the Jags.
Okay.
The Colts play the Dolphins this week, by the way. The Lions play the Bears.
Oh,
in Chicago. And the Jags got Cincinnati. Ooh, this is tough. I want to homer up here. Can I homer up? Should I take the Jags this week?
It's your call. We are being timed, mind you.
Let's go with the Jags.
All right, okay, Brent. I'm taking the Colts.
I thought you'd go with the Lions.
See, I think Nagy knows that this could be the game where if you don't coach well and you lose to the Lions, you might be out, actually. So I think he's going to get everything that he has to make sure they win this game.
Probably should be fired if you lose to the Lions, but that is what it is. Is there any questions that Aaron Rodgers cares? There was some thought that he might not, but he looked pretty passionate out there the other night.
Yeah, he did. I don't think anybody questions he cares. He's got a big ego, too, And that game, him coming back in 37 seconds as a competitor, I don't think he was cheering because I'm in a Packers uniform and I hope the Packers do well forever. I think he was cheering because I just added to my legacy. you know, and we finished it off. And you're going to talk about me for the next couple of days. And by the way, that's okay. I'm just saying I think that's what his excitement level was for. I loved how people at any time. Did Aaron Rodgers really just say, I don't want to play football?
No, for sure.
No.
Aaron Rodgers cares. I think, the long hair, the attitude, people are thinking, like, this guy doesn't care. Well, I have long hair, and I have a laid-back attitude, and I care as well. So, yes, Aaron Rodgers cares.
Final one, Saints dominate Mac Jones and the Patriots. They go to 2-1 with 3 very winnable games in their next 5. If you haven't seen the schedule, they are very winnable. If you had to buy stock in the Saints, as they currently are, Jameis Winston and the boys, would you do it?
Yeah, I think I would because I respect Sean Payton as a coach. I think he's going to put Jameis in situations where he doesn't turn it over 3 times a game. And I also think what people are forgetting about the Saints is they do have a pretty good roster. Like, they have good players. They have dynamic players. I'm not saying they're as good as the Rams or the Bucs or you name your team, even Green Bay. But they have, like, on defense, they have good players.
Sure.
On offense, they have good players. They're going to be in games. Really, the question is, does Jameis Winston throw it away? Yeah. And, by the way, I know everybody wants to talk about the 30 interceptions. Nobody ever wants to talk about 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. The guy is capable of doing good things, too.
Yeah. I'll buy into it just because I believe in Sean Payton more than anything. I don't necessarily believe in Jameis Winston, but to echo Brent, I think Sean Payton sets up Jameis Winston to succeed. And if Alvin Kamara can get things going as well, one of the best running backs in the league, that helps as well.
There you go. Around the league we went. Always fun. We're going to take a break. We're live at Top Golf on Tuesdays. Come on out. Josh Scobie joins us in a half hour. And then we talk even more football, maybe some more kicking. Although we're not supposed to talk a lot of football, but the kicker has made us talk some kicking with the former kicker.
It really fell in the line this year for us, huh? Have a kicker on our show, and obviously kick situation's a big story here in Jacksonville.
Any other big reunions like Belichick-Brady happening this week in sports? I mean, is there anything like it outside of LeBron James? Probably one more good example that would register to people, I think. We'll give you that when we come back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 here on a Tuesday.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunshine pushing temperatures into the upper 80s, at least inland this afternoon. A little bit cooler at the beaches. Nice tonight. We drop into low to mid 60s. And partly to mostly sunny tomorrow on Thursday. The warm afternoons continue with highs both days in the upper 80s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Now you can buy like a dealer buys. Save thousands on thousands of diamonds for a limited time at Beard's Diamonds.
Are you an experienced diesel technician that's in fear of losing your job due to the recent vaccine mandates? Bobcat of Jacksonville is a family-owned, mandate-free employer offering great pay and benefits. Apply today at bobcatjax.com.
The American Freedom Tour is coming to Jacksonville. I'm Dean Black, chairman of the Republican Party of Duval County, and it's time for Republicans to get motivated and defend freedom. 2 historic days, Friday and Saturday, October 8th and 9th. Come see Donald Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, Dan Bongino, Dinesh D'Souza, and many, many more. Get your tickets now at DuvalGOP.com. I will see you there.
There's a national shortage of cars right now, so your car might be worth more than you think. Come to the ACV National Auction this Friday and Saturday at the Tom Bush family of dealerships. Drive in, have your car scanned, and watch it go live for dealers across the country to start bidding. Want to sell your car with no headaches? You can on the spot, or just find out what it's really worth. It's free and there is no obligation to sell. This Friday and Saturday, hosted at the Tom Bush family of dealerships. See what your vehicle is really worth. 9850 Atlantic Boulevard.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin. I want to talk about my friends at J-Tech. J-Tech is a local nonprofit private institution of higher learning focused on essential career training such as automotive, diesel, HVAC, marine and RV technology, and commercial truck driving. They are currently hiring technical education instructors for all of those programs. If you're tired of being retired and all the mundane activities that come with retirement, and you have experience in those trade fields, they want to talk to you about using your knowledge and skills to teach and prepare the next generation of skilled trades men and women. So go ahead and give them a call to start the process. Their phone number is 904-328-5599. Again, that's 904-328-5599. 5599. Do good by giving back and teaching the next generation the skills that you've learned over the years, all the while becoming involved in helping the country by narrowing the skills gap. Call J-Tech today.
Just be positive. Your Community First Mortgage champions make sure you get a great rate, a quick close, and can save you about $3,000 in closing costs. Apply at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hey. This is Grace Gosted. I'm a singer-songwriter, and like many, I've been traumatized by years of bullying. You're ugly. You're stupid. You're gay. You're worthless. Bullying causes real harm and can result in severe long-term depression, anxiety, addiction, and even self-harm. I created the Black Box Project for anyone who has ever felt different for any reason. Go to theblackboxproject.org to help you take the first step to healing. You are not alone.
Are you bored from being bored? Then put a little excitement in your life in a great pre-owned from Arlington Toyota. Our friends over at Arlington have over 400 used available. 400! All makes and models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. I'm excited. Are you excited? Then shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/September for full details.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So your headlights are getting dim? With the seasons changing, now's a great time to change them. Upgrading your headlights can ensure you'll be safe and ready to handle darkness and fog. Oh, and we recommend replacing in pairs. That way you won't have uneven lighting over time. You can get all of your lighting needs fast with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
From the biggest names in sports,
Justin Herbert, ladies and gentlemen,
to the stories that matter.
The New England Patriots want to play that way. They want to protect
and plenty of opinions.
It's simple. Justin Fields is better, but I'm willing to.
And it starts every morning with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, right here on ESPN Radio.
I mean, everyone's human, you know. It's not like no one's perfect. You're not going to come in and just everything go perfect. It doesn't usually happen that way. So, like I said, part of me kind of expected that, but also everybody's different. Everybody's situation's different. I'm also not expecting this thing to take a year or two until I start, you know, taking care of the ball and playing better. So, you know, I think I'm trending that way right now, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this season and feel like there's a lot of work for us to do and a lot of games that we can win. So, I'm going to do that as fast as I can, accelerate that as fast as possible, but at the end of the day, all you can control is how you prepare. And
that is Trevor Lawrence today. I just get great perspective on that. You know, I mean, listen, we're trying to win. We want to win. We're not waiting around for this thing. I know people kind of have this view, and he's what I like about Trevor is he's not ignorant to the fact that people have this, okay, it might take 2-3 years, right? Yeah. Because that's what we all say. From the outside, everybody's like, okay, it might take a little bit. Jags aren't going postseason this year. Well, I think, like Trevor knows that, but he doesn't admit to that. He's going to go out there and try to win, but he is also aware that, hey, I understand there's sometimes you get some rope when you're a rookie quarterback. Well, we want to shorten the rope, you know, and we want to make sure that we're winning football games. Again, I mean, I think this guy's terrific behind a microphone. And I'm not talking from a soundbite machine standpoint, because there are those guys. But I just think how grounded he is and kind of this sense of calm. And we need that in Jacksonville in a weird way, right? Yep. I mean, he can just kind of calm the waters a little bit. And I think people are listening. He's got the equity built up right now, and the people believing in him that he can do that right now. I don't know if Urban does, probably to a degree. Not too many others can get away with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, it's to me, obviously, you want to win ball games, right? Because winning ball games is the ultimate confidence booster. And more than any other position in the NFL, like, you get the longest leash, it seems like sometimes, with the quarterback position. But to me, it's Urban Meyer's job to kind of, and I don't want to say the wrong thing and like make it like you can't make Trevor Lawrence feel uncomfortable. But you also got to reassure him, like, hey, man, I understand, like, you know, you're on a long leash right now. We're going to invest a lot in you. I'm here right now because of you. And that's always an awkward conversation to have if you're Urban Meyer. I took this job because you're here. Yeah. Like, that's basically why I'm here right now. So there is a symbiotic relationship there. But at the same time, you got to find that balance between saying, okay, you know, yes, you're a rookie quarterback. You're going to make mistakes. And, well, yes, you're the number one overall pick. You could be a once-in-a-franchise guy. We can't do those things as well.
Absolutely. Hey, just want to let you know, we're obviously always have conversations on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Twitch. You can always reach out to us. You can call 904-362-9901. Lines are usually open. I would say always open. Yeah. Casey at the ready. I also want you to check out this new app, this Relevant app. It's kind of cool. We're going to grow it a bit. We've got to get people to download it, but it's a one-click listen to the show. I think it's the easiest way to listen to the show now, unless you're in your car. So check it out, RELEVNT. It's Relevant app, and we can have some fun on there. You can do your own thing, by the way, if you're interested in it and trying to do your own podcast or talk a little. They call it the Pocket Podcast, as quickly as that. So check it out, the Relevant app, RELEVNT. And I just asked a question on there and also on Twitter. Brady to New England, huge.
Yeah.
LeBron back to Cleveland the first time especially. He remembered the date last night on the Manning broadcast.
I saw that.
I mean,
he
even knew the date, okay? Yeah. That's how big it was. Said he didn't sleep at all the night before.
Yeah.
What else is even close in that regard? And some people will say Favre back to Green Bay.
Yeah.
I don't sense that that's even on that level. But you're a Wisconsin guy,
no,
is
I
it?
am Wisconsin. It's not on the level of Brady going back to New England. No. I would say it's not on that level.
The reason why I don't think it's that is because I'm not sure when we say best quarterbacks of all time or best players of all time, Favre's very, very good. He's a Hall of Famer and he's worthy of it. But I don't know if we all sit there and be like he's in that conversation. I almost think Aaron Rodgers might get more of that conversation.
Sure,
talk, you know?
But even at that time, though, I guess before that time, nobody meant more to the state of Wisconsin than Brett Favre.
That's fair.
He was the folk hero, and when he left, obviously, it upset a lot of people. But even when he came back, it was an interesting reception, to say the least, because some of it was good and some of it was bad. But to me, it's nowhere close with what Brady's going to do.
And it's 2 years removed, 2 teams removed. He went to the Jets and the Vikings.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, hey, here's the only other one to me that fits. Gretzky back to Edmonton.
Yeah.
Gretzky already, everybody knew Gretzky, even at that time. He had not played forever.
Yeah.
But everybody knew Gretzky was like the greatest player of all time.
Of course.
And he was tracking to be the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
And he goes to L.A.?
Yeah.
I mean, Edmonton hockey, man. And he goes to L.A.
Yeah.
And a lot of people blame the Edmonton owner and all that stuff. So he goes back. I don't even remember the scene. I mean, we're talking about like 1988.
No, for sure. I don't remember the scene, but it's very comparable, and that's kind of where my mind was going to, because of the way that he left as well.
Yes.
And you mentioned it. Like, he did win championships there. And Gretzky was the guy, but Messier was big there, too, at the time.
True.
True. But, Gretzky was the guy, but they both won Edmonton championships. So there was still some ill will, though, because just the way that it looked from Wayne Gretzky. You leave such a storied, country, really, of hockey, and a storied city of Edmonton, and really a kind of a place where you grew up by. You leave Edmonton, and you choose to go to L.A., which I think at the time a lot of people said it's like the ultimate selling out thing, right? Like, does it scream more selling out than leaving, your country of Canada to go play hockey in Los Angeles, California?
for more money, obviously, for a ridiculous amount of money. Yeah, like that's got sellout written all over it. So I think the way that it went down, I don't think he was even vilified from Oilers fans. I think they were hurt, obviously, because like that was their native son that left and went to L.A., went to those bright lights. I don't think they were hurt by him, but they were obviously disappointed. And I think when he came back, yeah, I'm sure there were some mixed emotions for sure.
You know, I was thinking of this morning, and when I was kind of reading around on some things too, I was like, man, was Edmonton is irrelevant. Like, they've been irrelevant since Gretzky's gone. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
Because a couple years after Gretzky left, I think it was still Messier, of course, like in '89, they won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Even without Gretzky, I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
And they actually had some success still, and now, then it was forever, right? I mean, are they still an organization kind of thing, right?
It's up there. I mean, they have some good players, but, yeah, they're nowhere close.
They have the best player. But, hey, Brent, well done, by the way. Well done.
Connor McDavid's arguably the best player, yeah.
Arguably. We're not going to do hockey arguments, I know. But.
Okay, I got you. No, he's good.
But it made me think of that, seriously. Like, you get to the point, you've seen some – again, we don't follow hockey closely daily on the show, but you see transitions happen, like franchises change hands and stuff. And I almost had to ask myself, like, gosh, I haven't heard about Edmonton in so long. Mm-hmm. Like, are they still a franchise? Like, I had to ask myself that.
They're still around.
And that shows you how much I pay attention to McDavid or whatever.
Connor McDavid. I mean, literally the best hockey player in the league. A little respect, though. Let me ask you this in terms of returns back to home. What would the reception be? And I know what the reception would be like, but like, would it be polarizing if Jalen Ramsey came back to Jacksonville and the Rams played here? Like, would there be that much response, or being a cornerback where you're not a quarterback, it's different? Like, do you think he would garner that much attention and that much outcry?
Yeah, there'd be a lot of signs.
Yeah?
Yeah, there'd be a lot of my back hurts. There'd be a lot of, whatever. I think here, it wouldn't get national attention that much.
No.
I think about returns that could be made. I think that one could get a little nasty. And then there would be just this adoration for a guy like Calais, even though he was only here for 3 years, if he were to come back. Yeah. Jags don't have many guys that fit in that kind of category, though. And not every team does anyway. Mm-hmm. But Casey, you, I think, had one other one.
Yeah.
Are you going to the soccer world?
No, I'm not. I did not anticipate you saying Gretzky, so that's why I said well done, because I didn't know.
Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, but I have another one. I've seen it on the chat a couple of times, and I think you'll have a good kind of feel on this one. Roger Clemens coming back to Boston.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a really good one. That is a good one. And there's a couple of guys like that, actually. Wade Boggs, too, who everybody knows. I think by that time, this time I would have been probably right in college, so I don't remember it like it was yesterday. But you got to remember now, he went to Toronto first.
Yeah.
And then he went to New York. So, again, it was kind of removed, almost Brett Favre-like, that it wasn't like first time back. He had been back. See, you say with the Yankees, but he had come back with Toronto.
Yeah.
And he really had good years. And, see, people were okay with Clemens because the guy that who's the guy that Dan Duquette, that basically had said he was in the twilight of his career. And I don't know if he won a Cy Young I think he did win a Cy Young with Toronto.
He only pitched for Toronto in 2 years, and he won the Cy Young in both years.
In both years. And he was in the twilight of his career. So Duquette was the guy that was they hammered him for it because he had gotten rid of Clemens. And so I think it was less angst in that regard. And so to your point, maybe it is a bit kind of Brady-like, because I don't think there's a lot of ill will harbored feelings on the Brady front. I think he is going to get like the ovation of ovations, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to get booed, is he?
No, there's no way. No, why?
Yeah.
I mean, after all he did for you, there's no way he's getting booed. And the way he left, like, it wasn't ugly. I have one more that comes to mind, and this is a coach actually, and I know it's rare, but like I'm reminded of like early 2000s-ish College Game Day and watching. When they would take place at this certain spot. I want to see if you can get it or not. I mean, it's pretty obvious I said College Game Day, so you should be able to get it.
Of a coach that returned.
Of a coach that returned. And the place that he returned to did not welcome him with open arms. And the reason why I said it is because I distinctly remember watching College Game Day back in the day, and there was a sign, but it had like a dummy on it, and it had this coach's face, and it was hanging by like a noose.
Yeah, so they had the.
So yeah, they did not think very highly of this guy.
I don't know, man. My mind's not even getting anywhere.
I'm saying Nick Saban going back to LSU.
Yeah. So Saban had come. Saban was Michigan State.
Yep.
Then LSU.
Yeah, won a championship there in LSU, didn't he? I believe, or not?
Yes, they did.
Yes, he won the LSU.
Yep.
You know, the crazy thing is, I was there, and when I was working in Alexandria, Louisiana, that was the year Jerry DiNardo was fired and Saban brought in.
Okay.
I was only there for 6 months, so
Yeah.
I didn't cover much of it.
Yeah.
But then he goes Miami.
Yep.
And then goes to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So when Alabama played LSU.
When Alabama would play at LSU and the LSU fans would I remember
that
just like it was vital there. Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. Somebody else just put on social media, and I don't remember this as well, but Montana went back and beat San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, again, it doesn't have to all be bad.
No, sure.
How about Albert Pujols going back to St. Louis? That wasn't bad.
Do you remember, I read an article today, and they actually put Bryce Harper on the list of Washington Nationals. I'm like, come on, that's not even in this category. Is it really? I get it, but listen, you could probably make 100 of these cases. But we're talking about on a level of Brady. LeBron felt like it was that level.
Yes.
Right? Whether it was more recent, and that's why it feels that way, or if he's arguably one of the top 3 players of all time, right?
Yeah.
And then he's going back home. Brady's the greatest of all time, and he's going back home. You don't get many of these on this level.
Yep.
That's really the point of the story. I feel like sometimes you get this with coaches, and Saban's probably not alone, but in basketball you might get this too.
Sure.
With other coaches. So it'll be – I'm interested to see the scene more so than the game.
Yeah. Well, you see tickets prices for this game?
That's crazy.
Wow. I mean, it's the place to be. If you're an NFL fan, that's the game to be at for sure.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like I said, it's the storyline game of the 2021 season.
Yeah.
But it might be a terrible game. I don't anticipate this being a 3-point game coming down to the wire.
But don't you think, of all the games, you get the sense that the Patriots got curb stomped by the Saints because Belichick's already on the Buccaneers game. This game, let me ask you this question. What game, out of Bill Belichick or Tom Brady, who does this game mean more to?
I think to them individually, I think it means more to Brady.
Really?
Yeah, because I think he's got a little of that in him.
Okay.
I think Belichick's whatever.
Oh, I think Belichick cares now.
I'm not saying he doesn't care.
I think yeah.
But I think Brady's way more pissed off if they lose than Belichick is.
Okay.
And if you ask him in 20 years,
sure.
If you sit them both down,
yeah,
and you say, and you could do this, and you'd be like, you lost the game, or you lost the game. Brady, he'll not sleep 10 years down the road if he loses this game. Guaranteed.
I hear you, but it's just one man. Belichick's got the entire team. It's
I know, but he can blame those guys, too.
I guess.
Brady, it will be all on his performance, right?
That's true.
I mean, because here's the deal. If Brady loses, that means Belichick found a way to beat him.
True.
So Belichick found a way to beat him.
Yeah.
This would hurt Brady's ego big time. Doesn't hurt anything about a legacy or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think Belichick has more to gain, but I think Brady, not that he has something to lose, I just think it's going to bother him more.
Okay.
Because there's nobody to blame but Brady if he loses. Whether that's true or not.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not fair, but that's very true.
Yeah, whether it's fair or not. And Belichick can be like, I got a rookie quarterback. What the hell do you want me to do? He threw 3 picks. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Josh Scobie joins us at 5 Tuesdays from Topgolf.
JTech is a local nonprofit private institution of higher learning focused on essential career training such as automotive, diesel, HVAC, marine and RV technology, and commercial truck driving. They are currently hiring technical education instructors for all their programs. If you have experience in those fields, they want to talk to you about using your knowledge and skills to teach and prepare the next generation of skilled tradesmen and women. Give them a holler to start the process. Their phone number is 904-328-5599. Again, that's 904-328-5599. You've got the skills. Now it's time to give back. Get involved, feel good about your deeds, and lead the future of skilled trades labor.
Hey, boss. Just got done with Case and Neighborhoods. Hey, have you noticed more Safe Touch security signs in yards lately?
No, I'll bet it's because of back to school.
Back to school?
Yeah. See, back in the old days, parents who worked in the afternoon had no idea when Junior got home from school, right?
Yeah. Oh, but now with Safe Touch, the app lets him know exactly when he walks in the door.
Right. Parents love it. And Safe Touch video monitoring can show him exactly who the precious angel is walking in with.
Oh, I get it. Safe Touch is like an extra pair of eyes for Mom and Dad.
Right. So the kids are never home alone.
And parents are never away from home.
Precisely. It's also one more reason why we crooks got our golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Simple as 2 + 2.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Bono's Pit Barbecue. Yeah, it's good. It's more than food. It's about the flavor, the tradition. It's barbecue, and it's who we are at Bono's. Locally smoked since 1949. Almost 20 locations around Jacksonville. On the menu, smokehouse stackers, sandwiches, salads, sides, and Bono's family feast. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. Authentic traditional Southern barbecue. Feel the flavor, feel the community. Bono's Pit Barbecue. Yeah, it's good.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance it smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
At Lowe's, we know that when it comes to pros, the more options you can offer your customers, the better. That's why our showroom was built with pros in mind. With a wide variety of exclusive brands like Stainmaster Carpet, ProCore Plus Vinyl, and Pergo Laminate. Get the job lot quantities you need at the everyday low prices you want. It's one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The Big Hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a legit product. The key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text FORCE to 42424 right now. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424.
What's your ultimate game day experience? A tricked out man cave? Deluxe tailgate? Then enter the 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes for a chance to win $10,000 and make your ultimate game day experience a reality. To enter, buy any 5-Hour Energy product and upload the receipt. It's that easy. The 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes. Enter today.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 and a legal resident of the U.S. Ends December 10th, 2021. For official rules and how to enter without purchase, visit 5hesport.com. Void where prohibited.
O'Reilly. Get more miles on the road with O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system means better gas mileage for your car. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $8. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. For a clean, lubricated, more fuel-efficient system, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. Like you said, complete from defense, offense, complimentary football, all the way around. Just from halftime, just the way to continue it, the way we communicate it. That was fun. I think that showed just the brotherhood that we're creating and the culture that we're creating within this team. And that's just one, and that's just a step. And that was a big step in the building block of where we're going and what we're trying to accomplish.
All right, are the Dallas Cowboys for real?
I still like the Eagles. It's making some mistakes right now. You're down Brandon Graham, down some injuries. I'm not ready to give up on the Eagles quite yet, Brent. Because you know why? Because I need the Eagles to be successful.
But by the way, Casey, how did it take me almost 2 hours into the show to brag about Trevon Diggs?
Oh, careful now. Careful now.
So it's funny that you bring that up now because I obviously have that, and I was waiting for the 5 o'clock show because I thought you'd want to brag to yet another person, being Josh Scobie. But I forgot Josh Scobie's not going to be able to hear it. So then you're going to have to brag to him. Like, you're just going to have to, I guess, play-by-play it again. But I do have it,
Take
and
our
I've been
word
holding
for
it.
Josh.
Yeah, we'll play that at 5 because we should.
But Josh won't be able to hear it.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll tell him to go back and listen.
Okay.
I did go back and listen to that. That was a fun say. It's fun to go back and listen once in a while to the old shows.
Couldn't resist, could you?
No, I couldn't.
Hard to be humble around these parts.
I couldn't believe when I did fire that tweet off pretty quick.
So you're saying off of 1 pick six and 3 games that you would draft Trevon Diggs number whatever, 20 was it?
No, it was kind of ironic on a day that first of all, Trevon Diggs played well in all 3 games. Trevon Diggs, if you think
now last season, how'd he do though?
If you look at people around the league, they think he's developing into a top 10 corner in the NFL.
You typed in Trevon Diggs and that popped up today on Google, and I guarantee that Diggs. I looked it up myself. You typed in Trevon Diggs and it said people around the league thinks he's a top 10 talent. I saw that article just like you did. I'm asking you, how did Trevon Diggs do last year?
Is a little growing, better than C.J. Henderson.
Can't answer the question.
Better than C.J. Henderson.
Can't answer the question.
Better than K'Lavon Chason.
Okay.
And one thing, I don't know if you went back and watched that YouTube clip, but you really went all in on K'Lavon Chason, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, not my fault you played him opposition. And also, I could have swore I said CeeDee Lamb as well.
Well, he was gone at the time.
Okay.
That was the problem.
Oh.
He was gone. I was going to take CeeDee Lamb, too.
Oh, I mean, okay.
But he was.
He was gone. He was gone in the exercise.
And by the way, I had Chason on my board.
Yeah.
In that mock draft scenario.
And then you took who at number 9? Kinlaw. Kinlaw, yeah.
But seriously, think about that, right? And I don't do this. Is stupid to do, but it's just whatever. On the day that C.J. Henderson got traded, we're talking about another missed top 10 pick and missed first-round picks. We go in our mock draft and go Kinlaw Diggs.
Yeah.
Are you telling me Kinlaw Diggs or Chason and Henderson? Right? I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I like Kinlaw Diggs.
But we both liked Kinlaw in that situation.
We did.
And they reached for Henderson.
Yes.
The bottom line is you could have still gotten – now, Gladney hasn't worked out either, but they could have got Gladney.
Yep.
I think there was another guy, and also Diggs at 20.
Yeah.
So they didn't need to reach. And by the way, Okudah isn't even good.
Well, Brent, he's
hurt this year, but he disappointed last year.
As a rookie,
yeah.
Sure,
I mean,
sure,
Diggs is – I think I might have said in there, quote, Diggs might be the best guy in the class, and so far it's working out that way.
He's not the best guy in the class. The guy from Kansas City's way better.
How's Christian Fulton doing? Is he playing?
Is Christian
Fulton on a roster?
How is Trevon? First of all, don't say he's the best guy in the class. You can't do that.
Who's the KC guy?
I can't think of his name now. I'm telling you, the guy from KC.
Johnson? Was that the other one?
Travion Johnson? Something like that.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
I don't know. Diggs is in my mind. That's all I got.
I know.
Trevon Diggs.
How was that?
You know what else is in my mind? Football at 5. We got to take a break. We'll be back. Josh Scobie has arrived. He's hitting golf balls. Surprise, surprise. Maybe we talk a little Ryder Cup.
Oh, I hope we do. I mean, I hope we do.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 live from Top Golf.